Welcome to the third Terminal 2 Tuesday. It's all a part of Endless Studios' Endless Summer. This event where you get to hack our games to win while learning code. All right. We are going to play, have fun, and code all for free. Be sure to stay through to the end so you can learn how you can win awesome prizes in our raffle. My name's Katie, and I'll be your host today. If you want to get a head start on hacking today's game, load up Aqueducts at terminal2.com/games/aqueducts. Let's get started. So, you might be wondering, what exactly is syntax? And why does it matter if you're coding games? Well, the good news is you've already learned about syntax at school. Yeah, you just didn't realize it. It relates to programming too. So, if you recall, you've probably learned about grammar and spelling rules for words and sentences in your English class. That's syntax for a written language. You can think of coding syntax like it's the grammar and spelling rules for programming. Syntax is important because it enables us to tell the computer what we want it to do. Another good question is, why do we even need syntax? The answer is that computers and programming languages use syntax to understand what we want them to do. Syntax helps the language make sense to the computer. If you don't use the right syntax, the program will generate an error, or worse, it may even crash completely. We need syntax when we program for the same reason we need syntax when we speak or write. It helps everyone understand what's being communicated. Syntax is all around us. Anytime we're communicating, we're using syntax, just like we are now. The arrangement of words helps us understand what's being said. Because we understand the syntax of English, it makes sense when others speak and follow these rules. When someone doesn't, it stands out as odd. If you've ever watched the Star Wars movies, you might be familiar with the character Yoda. Yoda uses different syntax when he speaks. We understand him, but his words sound a little funny. Let's look at one of his most famous quotes. Yoda said, "Do or do not. There is no try." While we understand Yoda's words, they sound a little weird. If Yoda were using proper syntax for English, he would have said something like, "Don't try this, do it, or don't." When Yoda was developed, they gave him different rules for his syntax to help us see him as a different kind of character. In a computer program, adding code with foreign syntax could cause bugs and possibly crashes. How do you think Yoda would do as a computer program? Probably wouldn't even run in the first place. Another good example of syntax is something we see in the real world all the time. Things like prices on a menu or menu board. Typically at the restaurant, it'll tell you food items are on the left, and then to the right, there's a price. We've been taught that a price being positioned to the right of a food item means that's how much the food item costs. It's easy to read and easy to understand. Imagine if the prices and words to describe the food were all jumbled. It'd be hard to understand what we're getting or how much it costs. Something like macaroni $3.49 and French $2.99, fries, cheese. That's a jumble of words that doesn't make any sense at all. What are we going to get? How do I know what I can afford if I only have $3.15 in my pocket? Something like macaroni and cheese, $3.49, French fries, $2.99, follows that syntax we expect. So we know we can afford the French fries at $2.99, which is less than the $3.15 we have in our pocket. If you think about the restaurants you've been to, you may come up with some example menus that are hard to understand. Menus that didn't list any prices, or maybe they tried to put the prices next to numbers. Have you ever been to a place where you order by saying something like, "I'd like 1 number 3 and 2 number 6s"? If the prices were next to pictures of the food and numbers, then you know exactly what you're about to eat, even if it sounds a little funny said out of context. All right. So you're here for games, so let's talk about some games. Just as proper syntax lets us know what we can afford on the menu, in a program, the proper syntax lets the computer know what we want it to do. When we don't use proper syntax in our coding, the computer generates errors and tells us it doesn't understand what we've said. So we're about to jump into one of our games and really put it to the test. Remember, be sure to play along and try different syntax as we game together. All right. So to help us explore syntax in our games, I've asked my friend Nan to join us. Nan is the game director at Terminal 2. Thanks for joining us, Nan.
Hi, Katie. Thanks for having me. If you're up for it, I'd like to show you how syntax works in one of our games, Aqueducts.
I think that's a great idea. Everyone watching can also play the game if they go to terminal2.com/games/aqueducts. You can do so on your computer or your phone. All right, Nan.
Great. So before jumping into the game, I want to talk about the game a bit. So in Aqueducts, we play through a series of levels where our goal is to try and reconnect all the pipes and restore water to the town. We do so by changing certain parts of the program in the world so the computers can read the new code and update the changes.
All right, so is this broken code and it's not working?
It's not that everything is broken, but that the program's code was changed so the world behaves one way, and we want to update the code to make it behave differently. The code in Aqueducts mostly works around objects, their properties, and the values of their properties. This is the syntax here, and we'll show you how that looks. But the syntax for the programming language in Aqueducts is actually very easy for people to understand, as well as computers. And they'll be able to interpret how the program runs, and actually you'll see the changes happening in the game. So let me get this going so I can show you.
I'm super excited to see.
Okay, I'm gonna share my screen here. All right, can you, here we go. All right, so here's Aqueducts.
Nice.
Oh, I think this is the cutscene. There's a little village that you are in, and this maintenance guy has spilled coffee and now water's everywhere.
Well, that doesn't look so good.
Oh, and he's telling you have to go fix the pipes. And this is how you go fix the pipes with some programming. So here we go.
Into the portal.
Yep. All right. So let's go to level 1 here in Aqueducts. And here, this is a point and click game. So our main character is running around and I'm just clicking around on the screen. And we get,
what's that?
This is a token. This is a, integer variable. It's a type of number. This variable helps you store integers, positive and negative whole numbers. So in programming, there's a thing called variables. And so see this pipe here? I've got this pipe and I wanted to connect it to that pipe over here. So I can right click on the pipe, and this is the programming language that the pipe is using. And so that token I picked up is a integer token, which means, if you read the syntax here of this pipe, what I was talking about earlier, the object name is called the tube. The property of the tube is the length, dot length, and then equals 1. So 1 is this integer variable, and I can change it to say, I want the length or the property of this pipe to be, for example, 2. And you can actually see the pipe growing. So when we talk about syntax here, this is the rule set for this programming language. And I think I'm going to try to connect it with 4. And great, that connected the pipes. So this is how I did that. And if I want to get that star, this is going to be tricky.
So that's interesting with the syntax, because really what you did is you said this pipe is a length of 4.
Yes.
Which is
but to a
kind of
computer-
what you've written in the syntax.
Right. So for a person, if you're trying to, read this as if it was, English language, it might not make sense. But to a computer, this is a shorter way to convey logic. So here, the same with this bridge program, right? The object is the bridge. Dot length is the property of the bridge, is the length. And the value of that property is 1, which we can change to 5. So let's do that. And now I can walk over here, and I think I can jump down and get the star. So if I go here, now I can go up here, and now I'm going over to the door, and I made it.
Congratulations.
Why, thank you. Oh, looks like there are 2 more stars I have not gotten, so hopefully other people playing this can get more stars than I am. So I'm going to the next level here, and oh, looks like I've got another token I can get. So this token is called a string variable token, and string variables help you store information about words. So before we got the integer token, which had a number in the value that it stored. So now let's check this out. For water, it looks like if I want to get across here, there are 3 states for water. And again, this follows the same syntax rule: object and property and value, right? So the state of the water is liquid. And here we can say, let's make it a solid. And now it's ice. And so I should be able to just walk right across. But it looks like I need to actually try to get these pipes connected over here. So if I go here, so now you see the object is the tube, but the property has changed. The property now for this tube is rotation. And we're back to using that integer variable. So for those of you taking math classes, what is the degree of rotation? I believe it's 180. That'll get me all the way over there. Oh, but it doesn't reach all the way over there. So I wonder if I could do something to this other pipe over here. Tube.length. Great. Let me extend that. Nope. One more. And I've solved the puzzle. So this is, again, us just understanding object, property, and value. And this is the syntax for how the program is reading these 3 concepts.
Nice. How about you show us one more example, and then
Sure.
we'll see how far we get.
Let's go to the next level. I didn't find any stars. All right. So it looks like there's a token hidden in the lake. I think let's try making the state of the water gas this time. So it became a cloud. And
Look at the puffy clouds.
Yeah, and I think this token is a math token. Oh, so now I can add, subtract, multiply, and divide numbers. Oh boy, we're getting complicated.
The whole world is your oyster.
Yeah.
Mathematical oyster.
Yes, I think let me just step on this platform. So I think the pipe up there is needs to be connected. So I'm going to look at this. Ooh, this might look complicated now, but let's look at the syntax of this programming and try to understand it. So what we're saying is pink platform.height. So I know the object I'm standing on is a pink platform, and the height of that object is saying it's going to be equal to the yellow platform's height minus 2. And so if you have learned this in math class, we can say, well, I want this whole thing to go up. So let's try, instead of minus 2, maybe let's try plus 2. Let's see what this works. Oh, plus 2. Okay, that's going up. Can I change? Oh, I can also change the yellow platform. There you go. The yellow platform has a height of 3. Let's make it go up to 4. Nope, not yet. Almost there. 5. Okay, we connected it. Yeah, so it's actually quite easy to play around in this game and try to understand, what you can change to make the programs work. And there's a star up there, so for those playing, hope you can figure out how to get that star. Yeah.
Nice. Thank you, Nan. I think those were great examples of showing human readable syntax.
Yeah, great. I can stop sharing here and go back to the slides.
So if we chat quickly about the syntax that you encountered, I saw that code, it seemed pretty simple. I thought maybe coding was a little more complicated than that.
Yeah, there's actually other programming languages that do have more challenging and harder to understand syntax. But there's so many different programming languages out there, and I think once you figure out the basics of how to read and understand syntax, with enough practice, you can really get good at understanding all programming languages, really.
Yeah, and we saw that a lot of that code was technically good syntax, but it didn't give you the result that you wanted. Like the pipe was too short.
Right. So that's the difference between syntax and programming logic. You can have, good syntax, but you might still get the wrong results or a result you don't want. So it's important to not only have and use good syntax, but also use it to ask the program to do what you want.
Very interesting.
So here is an example from the real world. It's a program for stoplights. So when you're driving and you come to an intersection, you may see a stoplight, and stoplights actually have programs running them, and they have their own syntax for how the stoplight is run. So as a programmer, I can write good syntax that controls stoplights, but but I may not create the best stoplight logic.
So could stoplight logic just be always red lights all the time?
Yes, exactly. So if you have a four-way stoplight and you program it to always show red in every direction, nobody gets to go. Technically, it's a valid result because the syntax is good, but it's not useful.
All right, that makes a lot of sense. So you don't necessarily need just syntax. You have to also put in the correct logic, right, Nan?
Yep, that's correct. And if we go into another game, let's check out Ovum City. So Ovum City is filled with things that you can hack, and many of them can change in different ways based not only on the syntax we use, but how we use that syntax. So you really, yeah. So this is going to be a combination of understanding logic and syntax together.
Great. So for those of you who are watching this, you can join us by playing Ovum City if you go to terminal2.com/games/ovum-city on your computer or phone.
Great. Let me share my screen here so we can talk about it. But in Ovum City, basically, the computers have all gone haywire, and you're in this kind of cyberpunk city of the future. And we get to run around and explore the city and hack the machines. And we can choose to either fix them so they run smoothly, or we can choose to add more chaos.
Nan, let's add more chaos.
I mean, that is totally doable.
Yes, it's my favorite.
All right, so I'm in the game. It looks like I've snuck into the city walls. It's gonna be sneaky, run around over here. Oh, and it's telling me press spacebar to jump. All right, go. Let's go over here. Oh, sorry. My mouse is stuck on my, there we go. All right, here we go. It's a little obstacle course I have to get through first. And then I'm coming over here.
Hey, Nan.
Yeah.
She looks kind of like you.
Oh, yeah, that is pure coincidence. All right, so I've got to a security door panel here, and it looks like I can hack it, and I can try to debug it because I have to get through this door. So let's go here, press H to hack. All right, so now let's look at this code for the door. So this is, as you see, the syntax for this program looks a little bit harder than the last program we were looking at, right?
Mm-hmm.
But that's okay. Let's read it together, and I think we'll be able to understand what it means.
All right.
So this code starts with function onUsed, and if you've never, oh no, hold on, let me go back to here. I'm sorry, I must have accidentally clicked something. Let's go back here and wait for this to go back. All right.
That's really interesting. That already looks way more complicated than anything in Aqueducts.
Yeah. All right, let's get back to that. Oh, great. It saved my spot.
Nice.
Back here. Okay, so hack this door. So if you've never, learned programming before, and this is the first time you see it, if you just take the time to read it, it's actually pretty clear. So function unused means, this is a function for when you're using this door. If is open, so if the door is open, then close the door.
Okay.
Else, if the door is closed, close the door, right? And I think in here, you'll see there's a little exclamation point. Sometimes in real programming, like in the real world, you can actually do this thing called debugging. So if there's errors or problems in the code, your code editor will actually tell you, hey, there's a problem here, and you can actually look at it. So like if I think if I just hit run, see, now this gives me an error and tells me exactly what to do. So this is saying if the door is closed, then the correct logic or function is for the door to open, because anytime I use this machine to open the door, it should, close the door if the door is open, or if the door is closed, open it.
I've tried closing my closed doors before. Doesn't work out so well.
See, great. So that was
success.
Yeah. So if it looks intimidating, that's okay. Just slow down and read the code. Great. Looks like I got into the city. We're going to wander around and look over there. So I think that's a security drone. Ooh. So I just have to be careful and not hack anything while the security drone sees me. I think I can hack the security drone too, but
nice.
We'll save that for later. Okay, it looks like there's an ATM here. And should we try to take some money from the ATM?
Oh, yeah. More chaos, more money. That's how it goes, right?
Yeah, more money to make more chaos.
Yes.
But this is interesting. Now, this looks like a lot of code right off the bat. Now, remember, this code editor tells us what's wrong. So if we look here and look at the syntax, so it looks like up here, there's this 3-letter word called var. That stands for variable. And it looks like we've got a lot of variables here, but this one looks like that might be a typo. So I'm going to try to debug this and say, I think these are all supposed to be variables. I'm going to have that match. And this cache increment. So this also, notice that there's comments in here. So sometimes when you're writing code, programmers will actually write comments just in the same syntax and format. So comments actually have their own syntax where you can write it like this, and the computer will basically ignore the comments, but it's for humans to read. So someone who programmed this is telling me this is the code that talks about the amount to dispense at a time, or cache. And I think that's what we want.
Yes. Thank you, past human.
Yes. So I think I'm going to ask, what number should I pick?
Well, so if you put in, say, 100, do you have to click the machine 700 or 7 times to get the $700 out?
Well, if we look down here, it looks like there's a while loop down here. So let's read the comments, because the syntax might be hard to understand. So the comments say, dispense if cache request is more than 0, the ATM has bills and is secure. So, okay, so this is telling me this is the logic that while this is true, right, while these 3 logic pieces are true, then give out the money. So I think
it's saying the amount that I ask for is greater than 0, and there's money stored because it's greater than 0.
Yep.
Then just give me money.
Yeah, and then it's a secure transaction, which we see here. This transaction is a secure one. So I think because it's doing increments, I think 300. If you divide 700 by 300, that's actually less than if you divide 700 by 100. So it's I'm going to go with 100, because I think that's going to give me more money, because I think that's going to give me a full 700, because it's just going to loop through the 100 increments. But I think if I do the 700, it's going to give me like 600. Let's see. I have a hypothesis. Oh, all the money is coming out. It's on the ground.
Oh no, take them from the other people.
But, oh, I got 800. Did I have 100
started with 100. Yeah.
So my hypothesis was right that if I
Nice.
divided 700 by 100, I'll get more. Oh my gosh, look, there's a fire. What is happening?
They've started the chaos without us.
Oh, you know what? Maybe we have to fix this. Let's see. How do I help the electricity pole? So here I've got some comments in the code that can help me understand what the code is, because sometimes as a programmer, somebody else has to fix your code, someone later. So you have to write comments to help. So voltage needs to be 240 for safe system execution. If it's over 240, it's unsafe and causes a fire, which is what's happening right now. If it's under 240, it will not deliver power. So I think I need to just make this 240.
Got it.
So I can be a good Samaritan.
I guess that's the right thing to do. Like how everyone just dispersed. Like, okay, nothing to see here. Everything's fine. Bye.
There's no problem now. back to wherever you were. I think if I come over here, ooh, it looks like there's a little elevator here.
Oh, neat.
Let's see if I can hack this elevator. That's a lot of code to read through. Wow, yeah, but let's look at this. Again, there's some indicators. I think this is a typo. Because sometimes, if you talk about syntax, you can have bad syntax if there's actually a typo. The computer cannot understand what you're saying.
Yes, I like the yes option.
Yeah. Var move. I think this should be a function, not a variable, because there's a difference between functions and variables. Variables store information as their containers, but functions are actually little mini programs that tell the computer what to do.
Okay.
And then check, and I think this is also another function, or is it oh no, it's an if statement. If reached a certain point, turn around. So I'm going to say this is an if statement, but I'm going to be cheeky and see if it gave me a syntax error. So I was right. I think this has to be an if statement. So I'm going to put this here and select that, and then I'm going to run. And now look, I fixed the elevator, and there's more money on the rooftop.
There's money on the roof.
I guess some sneaky person dropped some money up here.
Clearly, I need to check some roofs for money.
Oh, the drones have been alerted. I don't know if you know this, but every time you make a hack, the drones start looking for you. See that drone?
Oh, look how angry he is.
Yeah, so I'm gonna try to not go that way. I don't want to get caught. Although I have a feeling I can do something bad here. Let's see if I can hack this electricity pole. Can I hack?
He can't see you.
I'm gonna. Oh, here we go. Okay, I bet if I set this on fire.
Set the drone on fire.
I bet it can set the drone on fire. Oh boy, I've set
now you're on fire.
There's another ATM. I'm gonna skip that ATM. I think that nice person is getting some money, so I won't bother them. But yeah, this is like the beginning stages of Ovum City. There's lots and lots of things to explore here. Like there's like another floating. Oh look, there's more money on the rooftops over there.
Oh yeah.
There's
Gotta check the roofs.
And if you do something bad, maybe you'll get put into jail. There's a hardware upgrade. Oh, look at this nice robot man waving to me.
He did wave at you. That was very nice of him.
Oh, I can upgrade. So what's great about this game is that if you make enough money over time, you can actually buy hardware upgrades. So you can hack even more challenging things. So I think I can get...
Sounds useful.
Yeah. So you can basically run around and see what you can hack. And if you can't hack it yet, just go make enough money or get XP to hack to get hardware upgrades. It looks like this is a sweeper machine. So hopefully by this time, you don't feel as intimidated by the programming, just because, like if you look at this street cleaner top speed, like this feels very similar to Aqueducts, right? You have an object, you have the property of the object, and you have the variable inside the object or the parameter. So a lot of these programming languages follow, kind of similar patterns.
Makes sense.
Hold on, let me go back to here. So I'm gonna exit out of this so that we can look over here. So it looks like there is actually a secret door here that lets me go out this way, but it also looks like it's being guarded by a drone, because I think if I hack it, this drone will be very mad at me.
He looks like a big drone too.
So I think, oh, look, if I step in it, it's like flashing.
Oh no.
Yeah, so I think this might be the puzzle to unlock the rest of the world. This is actually a pretty big world. So I think, I'm going to give a hint here, which is I think you have to, somehow disable that security drone so you can get through the door. But in order to get the door, I'm not going to solve this. I think I'm just going to let you guys figure this out.
That's awesome. Nan, I think you just created this week's raffle challenge.
Oh, yeah?
So every week we have a raffle. There's usually something to do in our games. So I think this week we can ask everyone to play Ovum City, rank up your experience, and then figure out to open this door. So when you do open this door, be sure to take a screenshot and you can share it with us to enter this week's raffle.
That sounds exciting. Can I enter?
I don't know. I hear you're pretty busy, so I'm not sure you're going to have enough time.
You're right. I probably won't. But yeah, I'm excited to see other people if they can solve this very exciting door challenge, and actually to see what's on the other side, because it's a whole new world over there.
Yes, and thank you very much, Nan. You helped us understand 2 of our games a little bit better, and I appreciate you spending your time playing games with us. So I'll let you get back to work.
Thanks, Katie. Thanks for having me.
All right. So let's review that. If you'd like to enter this week's raffle, be sure to play Ovum City, unlock the red beam door, take a screenshot, and share it with us. Where can you share it? You can share it with Terminal 2's Discord or on all our social media. What a mouthful. So why would you want to enter the weekly raffle using Ovum City? Because you can win awesome prizes. So what can you win? You can get a Terminal 2 swag bag that includes a backpack, a t-shirt, a water bottle, and a bunch of stickers. You'll also receive a game code for all of the games currently on Terminal 2. You'll also, additionally, gain an entry into our grand prize drawing at the last Terminal 2 Tuesday, which is only 2 weeks away. Our grand prize winners will receive a swag bag, which you just saw, everything included, the Terminal 2 game code, and a voucher to join one of Endless Studios' courses starting in August. You will get in for free and learn how to program and hack games using the same tools that game developers use, even if you've never programmed before. So, remember, all you have to do is open the gate in Ovum City, take a screenshot showing that you did, and share it with us. If you feel like you're stuck or you need help or just want to connect with us, reach out. We'll be happy to help you and give you some hints. You can find us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Discord, or by emailing us at community@endlessnetwork.com. Send your screenshot using any of these social media channels and you'll be entered into the raffles. Remember, if you aren't old enough to use social media, please talk to your parents first. All right, that puts a wrap on Terminal 2 Tuesday for this week. Thank you for sharing your time with us, and I can't wait to see all of your raffle entries. Have a great time out there with Terminal 2, and see you next week.